Hello again, I'm back with a new journal, completed and ready to share. I gave a wee sneaky peek of the front cover over on my Instagram, and definitely gone for a blossom spring-like feel, even though I'm looking out the window, it's snow at the moment. I'm hoping it'll be gone very soon. But yeah, I'm really quite happy with the way this one turned out. It's ended up being quite layered and lots of beads. This is a actual wired Christmas decoration that is supposed to be a snowflake, I think, and I just stitched it onto the spine. This is a really nice piece of fabric that I've just sort of scooshed together and sewn it into the shape I wanted to. I want to keep the little flower on the back of this book, so I basically stitched it into the shape that I roughly wanted, and then added the little pearls as well. So yeah, quite happy with the way that turned out. And the blossom on the front, I really like. The fabric flowers, I've had a few people ask me where I got these flowers, and I'm afraid, like many of the embellishments I use, they all come from sort of charity shops, and they tend to be other things. Like these flowers were from a headband, and this is two separate. This was a bracelet, I think, these little flowers, and this was a necklace. And I just keep an eye out for bits of jewellery that I know will work in my journals. So I'm afraid I can't tell you where you could get them. But yeah, the hairband type thing, I think it was just like a kid's hairband. So, you know, you'd probably be able to find something similar. But I do love the way it turned out, and there's some vintage doily and things. And this is some lovely vintage lace that's made from silk thread. It was quite damaged when I got it, so I don't feel bad chopping it up. But it was a great bargain on eBay because it was so damaged. But because I know I was buying it to chop it up, it wasn't a problem. So yeah, so I've gone with, I started out with this piece of fabric. This is where the inspiration for this journal came from, this gold and red piece of fabric, which I've put in pearls. And that, like I said, this was going to be the cover. And I put I think this is a tea tray doily I've used, but I didn't put anything in between the two layers, so I've ended up using it as a page instead because it wasn't strong enough really to be a cover in itself. And I've used another tea tray doily here, and what I did is, because it was much wider, like longer than I needed it to be, I didn't want to chop it up, so what I've done is I basically put folds in it. Hopefully you can see that there. I folded it up into the spine in a shape and then stitched it with the machine to make it stronger and keep the shape. But it also meant I could get it the length I wanted to fit the book, but it also has reinforced the spine really well because it's so thick. And because, again, I've got all these layers that were supposed to be a cover, it's reinforced the spine as well. So this is quite a strong book. And then I've put this extra fabric on the outside. So hopefully we're in frame. So yeah, so this has turned out into sort of an inner cover page type thing, and I really quite like. I didn't want to put anything here because of the design here, so this is just plain, and I like the way it's turned out. I think it's 5 signatures if I remember rightly, and each signature is a mix of various papers, and each cover of each signature is a piece of paper from Ruby and Pearl. I really like her papers, so I've used those papers for each of the signatures, but then embellished them in various ways. So there's quite a lot of vintage lace on the edge of each signature, starting page of each signature. There's like a wee lacy embellishment. I think there's 2 of each so that they match, and then one in the middle is different. And then I've used the tulle that I like using quite regularly in my books, the really soft bridal tulle, and I've used that, and there's beads and things into each layer as well. There's quite a lot of journaling space in this book because if I decorated every page because I ended up putting quite a lot of signatures in here. You'd never be able to close it. So there's quite a lot of pages I've left blank. Again, throughout this book, to match with the red, I've used a poppy napkin. So the poppies go throughout the book as well. And then we've got various little pockets. I've just used lace, and there's in each signature is sort of similar papers, but each signature has the same botanical from the same book and stuff like that. So as you go through the book, it feels like it should come together. And I've done various little embellishments on some of the pages, and I've used the same butterflies from the same book and stuff like that. Each signature again has a tag, which I've used some red handmade paper and then the Tim Holtz dies on. And then I've used a little bit of, I think this is baking paper, and then the baking paper with the napkin. I just forget words when I do videos. The napkin on it, I just think looks really nice because you see it from both sides. And then there's some vintage ledger in here as well. And we've got a couple of the fabric envelopes that I use as well, which I've just put various bits and pieces in. Inside there are some Tim Holtz roses that match really nice, so you could decorate the journal with them. I think what I've done this time is each of the envelopes has things that you could use to decorate the journal yourself in, rather than just a journaling card. There's some extra little bits. So like I say, plenty of space to journal in this one. This is some, what do you call it, watercolour paper. And then there's a wee envelope, which I've forgotten to put something in, but I'll remember to put something in there. And then this I've put in, I think I've got 2 of these ladies in here. I've just backed onto card, and I thought they'd be nice bookmarks. I was making myself some bookmarks for my books I'm reading, and I thought she'd make a nice bookmark. And then on this side again, we've got just a tag. Again, this tag is exactly as it comes, I think this is Artie Mays, the Artie Mays tags that she did with Tracy Fox, I think. I have this big box of stuff I've printed off, and I'm trying to work my way through using it and popping it into journals, but I'm forgetting now what the kit is. I'm pretty sure that's the Artie Mays Tracy Fox collaboration kit. If it's not, it's definitely Artie Mays or Tracy Fox. And then so the next signature here, again the lace, and there's some little beads which are all the same throughout to make it all match. And another wee pocket here. I've just put some bits I've backed onto card. And that's a vintage ticket. This is nice, this is handmade paper. And this is a ledger I have. It's a doctor's ledger from where they all wrote down their prescriptions. And it's from 1905, I think. So, and quite a lot of the pages are falling out. So again, don't feel guilty about chopping it up. And this is just a poem with a beautiful illustration from a book I've got. And it's all gold sari I've used on the paper clips. Again, this is, I think it's rice paper. Really fine, but it's lovely. And you can write on it, it's very strong. And so in the centre of this signature, I've just done 2 little secret places to journal. Again, with the vintage ledger. This is from, I think it's the Graphics Fairy. I've signed up to the Graphics Fairy membership just for a couple of months to see what's available in there, because I've seen a few bits and pieces now that I quite like. And again, I've left that open as somewhere to journal, a little secret place to journal. And we have another tag in here. It was a happy accident, but I'd initially had stickers, roses on these tags, and I didn't like them. They were quite plasticky as I was putting them on, and I thought if I put gesso over the top of them and stuff, I would be happier with them, but I wasn't. So I pulled them off, and they took the topping of some of the stickers away, and then left a shape in the inking I'd done over the top, and I actually really like how it turned out. So it was a bit of a happy accident, and then I've put the die cuts over the top instead because I didn't like the stickers. Some of them were really nice and they were fine, but some of them just didn't stick properly, and I just didn't, because I put various bits over the top, I wasn't happy with how they turned out. And I put a wee tip in here because this image is lovely. Again, I think that's Ruby and Pearl. See, this is one of the stickers that I put over the top here, and this one's fine. It took the ink and everything over the top, no bother, but for some reason a couple of ones on the tags didn't. But I've got them all in the same box, so they weren't necessarily the same stickers. Again, I've got beads and lace on the start and signature. And this is vintage ledger as well. And then I've got this and this here. This is again a little vintage, what do you call it? Bank ledger. It's like somebody's bank book they would have taken into the bank with them when they were sorting out their money. So this is from 1904 and it's original. I think again that's Ruby and Pearl, that image there. And just got a pretty little bit of paper here that's got some gold fleck through it. So I thought that looked really nice with this gold and red. And just a wee pocket here. Again, I've just popped that in. The colours just fitted perfectly. Again, I think that's Ruby and Pearl. There's quite a lot of Ruby and Pearl in this one. And that's the centre of the signature there. And again, another wee place there hidden for journaling. And a wee pocket here with just one of these old letters printed onto newsprint. I think this is a Tracy Fox kit. Like I say, I'm pulling stuff out of this box now, but I've got lots of sort of bits of kits that I've printed off over the years, and I've chucked it all in this box. I'm trying to use it up now. I'm trying something a little bit different. A lot of my books in the past have been a kit. So the kit pages and the matching envelopes and all of that kind of thing. Whereas I've got so many bits now that I would like to use them all as much as I can. So my journals for the next few will probably be a little bit more eclectic in that they'll have bits of lots of different kits, but they'll all come together, hopefully. That's sort of what I'm going for. And then I've just popped this, which I backed onto tea-dyed paper. I liked putting that in as a bookmark as well. And this is the, what are we on, 4th signature? And again, these little clusters go through, and another tag. I've put, I think this is, it's like a long trim for, I think it's for a lampshade trim, but I've used one tassel from it for the top of all my tags, but then on the bottom I've used a couple of pieces so you've got some of the tassels coming out the bottom as well. And I've got a tag in here. I quite had fun using the red. It's quite a dark colour, and I've made a few journals in the past using red and sort of deeper, richer colours, and I do quite enjoy it. And there's our other lady that I've used as a bookmark, and again she's backed onto some red card. And we've got another wee envelope here. What did I pop in here? I think it's, yeah, these are vintage bus tickets. And again, the poppies. This is a copy of a really nice vintage postcard I have, and I've done the front and I copied the front and back and then stuck them together. So this is the trim, which I think is lamp trim if you're making a lampshade, and it's thick enough that it's just a tiny little tuck pocket. And we've got another tag here. So this is more, again, I think it's some sort of upholstery lamp trim, and I've used that again as a wee tuck pocket here. This is just a vintage envelope, and the address is Inverness in Scotland. And then this was just, shh. Sorry, my little dog's in here with me. This is just a little, what do you call it? File folder, is that right? That I've made into a little book. And like everybody else, I followed the tutorial on Ruby and Pearl video on using images on tracing paper to make little bags, but I then made this little bag into just a little folder, and it's got various bits and pieces in there and little pockets here, and that fits nicely in here. I was just having a wee play. And then that sits in that little bit of trim quite nicely. And then the last signature, again, vintage ledger. I got, I think it's about 5 different ledgers I got in a little salvage yard recently. And they were so cheap and they're so lovely, and they're all different. So I'm going to be using them quite a lot in my next few books. And another vintage letter I printed onto some newsprint paper, so it gives a very vintage feel. And in this little pocket I've just put a collection of vintage, oh, you can see that, vintage stamps. Again, that somebody could use to decorate the book further. And we've got another, I don't think I've put anything in that one, no, but I will. Another little fabric envelope. And another wee pocket here, another vintage printed letter. And on another one of these, I think they're scrapbook dolls. I've got quite a few vintage scrapbook dolls that I can copy. And then a few pieces of the vintage ledger in that little pocket too. I thought they made her stand out behind them. Shh. He wants out. I've locked him in here with me and he's hearing stuff downstairs, if you can hear the dog whining. My little stamps here at the end. And then what I've done with this is 2 of the tags. Again, I'm pretty sure it's the Artie Mays Tracy Fox collaboration tags, and I've backed them onto like a really thick bit of card, because I noticed when I was working in this myself, because I put beads on the inside here, when it was closed it was pushing the beads through the paper and I was starting to get wee marks. So I thought I'll make a little writing board, because I thought if you were writing on these pages you're going to feel these little beads, which I didn't want. So I thought that will be perfect. 2 minutes, we're nearly done. That will make it a lot easier to write if there's any beads on some of the pages. So I've just left that loose at the back and popped a wee rose. And this comes off. This is, I just popped that on, and did I glue that on? Oh no, I did glue it on. Did I? No, I didn't. And I just put a little tag on there and a little bow clip. And then at the back, it's just plain again. So there we go. There is my latest journal all completed. I'm quite pleased with myself that I've got another one done quite quickly, and I'm halfway through. another book, a blue toned book that I'm making for somebody. So I'm really pleased that I've been getting busy in here. So I was just going to use this gold. He sounds so sad, but he's not. He's a spoilt brat. You sure. I've got a wee rose to pop in there. And I've put these lovely glass vintage buttons on the end of the sari. But yeah, so that's my latest book. I hope you enjoyed the flip through, and I will hopefully see you again soon with another book. So thanks for watching. Bye.